We're recording.
Okay. All right, this is a special meeting of the Terre Haute City Council. It is 5:30, Thursday, June 14th, 2018. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Aller.
Present.
Councilperson Azar.
Present.
Councilperson Crossan. Present. Councilperson Gabon.
Here.
Councilperson Elliott.
Here.
Councilperson Garrison.
Here.
Councilperson Morris.
Here.
Councilperson Nasser.
Present.
Councilperson Nation.
Here.
All are present.
Thank you. Purpose of this meeting is to look over tax abatement compliance forms, review those. First item, Michelle.
It is, we received a letter from Ampersand. I just wanted it to be read into record that they did submit a letter stating that the project's not completed, and that's why they did not file a CF1 form. No action is required.
Next item, please.
Associated Physicians and Surgeons, CF1 RS4 2011. You should have a copy in front of you, and it should be in alphabetical order.
Thank you.
Your options are to vote that it is in substantial compliance or not in substantial compliance. If you vote that it is not in substantial compliance, then a hearing needs to be set within 30 days.
Point of order, if I could just
Councilman Garrison.
make a comment. Just going through the list, I don't see, I see one that's a conflict of interest for me, and it's the first one with 18 Escalade, part of the Union Health System, where I was, so I will be commenting or voting on that one.
Thank you.
Just for information for the council, they stated that they would retain 193 employees and that they would hire additional employees in a phased-in process. They currently have 212 employees, and then they're showing 85 additional, but they didn't show the additional salaries.
Mr. President,
Councilman Morris.
if there's no further discussion, I'll state that Associated Physicians Surgeon CF1 RS4 is in compliance.
Second.
Has been moved by Councilman Morris, seconded by Councilwoman Aller, that CF1 RS4 2011 be found in substantial compliance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. President, and we're just making a note for the record that Councilman Garrison did the same.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Next item.
BMS CF1 form for Resolution 4, 2012. You should have a copy in front of you. They are showing that they were going to have 778 employees plus 40 additional, and they have 712.
I will move that they are in substantial compliance.
Second.
Has been moved by Councilman Morris and seconded by Councilwoman Crossan that we find BMS CF1 RS4 2012 in substantial compliance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is in substantial compliance. Next item, please.
BMS CF1 form for Resolution 48, 2006. They showed that they were going to have 1,021 employees plus 29 additional. They currently have 712.
I'll move that they are in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilman Morris and seconded by Councilwoman Crossan that we find BMS CF1 RS48 2006 in assist.
One question, Mr. President.
Councilman Azar.
Isn't this about over?
Due to expire.
2007?
If it's not its last year, then there's only one left. Let me look at the project completion date.
Was it 7?
So it would have went on 8/2009, correct, Councilperson Aller? Yes. So I
So
believe
would it
next year will be the last
2009?
year.
Okay. All right. I I yield. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. It has been moved by Councilman Morris, seconded by Councilwoman Crossen, that we find CF1 RS 48.
Roll call, please.
2006 in compliance. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Aller? Yes. Councilperson Azar?
Yes.
Councilperson Crossen?
Yes.
Councilperson Elliott?
Yes.
Councilperson Garrison?
Yes.
Councilperson Morris?
Yes.
Councilperson Nation?
This is 30% fewer employees than they estimated and millions of dollars less. No.
Councilperson Nasser?
No.
Councilperson Devon?
No.
That's 6 yes, 3 no.
Okay, that has been found in substantial compliance. Next item, please.
Gartland Foundry, CF1 form for Resolution 2, 2015. They estimated 128 employees plus 3 additional. They're showing 130. That's 1 less than they estimated.
Mr. President,
Councilman Nation.
if there are no comments, I move that we find Cartland Foundry CF1 Resolution 2, 2015 in substantial compliance.
Second?
It has been moved by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Morris, that we find CF1 Resolution 2, 2015 in substantial compliance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's in compliance. Next item.
GATX CF1 for Resolution 14, 2017. Before I read the numbers, I want to remind the council that this was a 3 or 4 stage project, that the final stage is not expected to be completed until December of 2020. They're estimated that there would be 78 employees plus 23 retained, plus 55. So if you add 23 and 55, that comes to 78. They're showing 34. So even though the project still has 2 years left, they've reached halfway.
Mr. President,
Councilman Nasser.
if there's no other questions or comments, I vote that we find Resolution 14, 2017 in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilman Nasser, seconded by Councilman Nation, that we find CF1 RS 14, 2017 in substantial compliance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It's in compliance. Next item, please.
GATX CF1 for Resolution 15, 2017. I believe this was the same situation where the project will not be completed for a couple more years, but they still have hired almost half of the employees they estimated.
Mr. President,
Councilman Nation.
I move that we find GATX Resolution 15, 2017 in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Nasser, that we find CF1 RS 15, 2017 in substantial compliance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It's in compliance. Next item, please.
This is George Vitar for Providence Medical Group, Resolution 13 of 2006. I believe this is expired. The only reason I bring that up is so that the council is aware that to formally prohibit any additional deductions, you could rescind this abatement. I didn't even send them a letter this year.
Is the first, Mr. President,
Councilman Nation.
Michelle, is the first step in rescinding the abatement, finding it out of compliance?
And then the second step would be the hearing, and then denying it in the hearing and that. But I will leave that up to Mr. Felling to agree or disagree.
You have to vote on it one way or the other tonight. I agree with what Michelle says. You need to get the ball rolling with bringing them in if they're going to show up, at least provide an explanation.
Right.
It's always possible, and again, Michelle can correct me if I'm wrong, that even if a project completion date is over 10 years old, they may not have started taking the abatement until after that. So they could have waited an additional year to even start the abatement, and then it would have gone from there.
But they
So
should come in and,
someone should come in, if the council has any questions.
right.
Always, just finding not in substantial compliance doesn't do anything other than move this a little bit along.
Right.
So that's the safest bet.
Mr. President,
Councilman Nation.
I move that we find George Batara, Providence Medical Group, Resolution 13, 2006, not in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilwoman Crossen, that we find CF1 RS 13, 2006 not in substantial compliance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. Me.
I'm sorry?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye and aye.
Okay. It has been found not to be in substantial compliance.
Mr. President,
Okay.
there was two that voted no, is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
George and
Councilperson Azar and Councilperson Elliott?
Yes.
Okay. The next one is Glasgow Templeton Coal, CF1, form for Resolution 9, 2007. Again, same situation, I believe this is expired. They are showing additional employees than they originally estimated. They showed an estimated completion date of March 1st, 2008.
Question. Councilwoman Olive?
Can this be that they have one more year on it?
I'm sorry?
On this one, would it be one more year?
What,
If I may, one thing on this, I don't know that the council is the determining body as to the length of the abatement itself. When we get these forms, I think it's our job to determine just whether or not they are in
The
compliance or not in compliance. The rest of that is with the county.
It's with the auditor's office, correct? And then if they don't file it through the auditor's office, then it would just fall off.
Now,
And it automatically falls off with the auditor's office.
I don't know that it automatically happens. I think we can act as a safeguard to the extent that if we find them not in substantial compliance, they could provide an explanation on record as to when it started, and then that may kick in.
Right, but when they do their data entry over there,
if I could just bring up an example, does anybody remember the ones on College Street where I believe Lou Britton was a representative, and they didn't file anything for 4 or 5 years, and then they wanted it back. And they said they should get the full 6 years, I think, that was remaining. It was like EBC and the trucking, Superior Trucking. That's my only concern, that's the reason I bring this up. I have reached out on both of these, and the auditor's office wasn't sure why they were still filing the forms. I'm not trying to urge you to call them in for a hearing. I just remember that one instance where they kept coming,
Well, by doing the, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
and I apologize for interrupting.
I yield.
Councilman Morris?
By saying we're not in compliance, this will spark them to address this and send a letter, be it one way or the other. No?
It sets a hearing.
Pardon me?
It just sets a hearing.
Yeah, right.
We would just set it at a later date, and then a representative can come and provide an explanation.
Sure.
And at that time, you can then find them in substantial compliance or then deny it in its entirety. You still have the opportunity to accept the form that they've provided.
Councilman Garrison?
I guess I have a question and really a problem with the process. If, in order to go through this, we're looking at somebody that has additional employees and an additional revenue as promised, but yet we're asking them to come in here and explain that. Is there another way we could do that? And actually, same with Providence. When they've more than doubled their salary, which is probably why you two support it, and I actually feel like I should support that too. If I was the business owner, I would be a little upset if I had to come in and explain that. Can they do it with a letter, or is there another way they can address
It's totally
this?
up to the council, and I don't want the council to feel like I'm pushing them either way. A few years ago, the council felt that there were some companies that were trying to get more than their 10 years on their abatements.
Well,
So-
it also seems like we should know when that date is. How can we find out if it's been 10 years or 8 years or whatever the agreement was originally?
The information I obtained from the Harrison Township Assessor's Office, it should have expired.
This should have expired for Glasgow. So
And that's
so if we deny it, they still have to come in? I guess they don't have to come in. If it's expired, they don't need to come in.
If the council wishes, you could go back to the one that you wanted to set for hearing, and you could ask me to send a letter, or legal to send a letter stating that,
A guy like that. no.
I do too.
And I think I made the motion on that, and I'm fine with that. My goal is not to drag people in for hearings. My goal is to stop giving
Complete the
them
process.
breaks when the process is over. And that's it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I am not afraid to use this hearing process to get to the bottom of these questions. I think that it's the one tool that we have. It sounds like Michelle's getting conflicting information from, or no information, depending on who she's asking.
Councilwoman Owen?
I agree with Todd, what your Councilman Nation. But again, normally these are caught, but they still follow the forms because the companies aren't for sure which year it comes off, and just to cover themselves, they'll send them in. We used to get tons of them, and then, there was no data to enter because it had already fallen off. So it was more or less a cushion for them to make sure their paperwork was filed in time. Most of the time, I just contact the auditor's office, and they can tell you whether it's on or it's off. So, I yield.
Councilwoman Crossen?
So if we do follow just our process and say, yes, this is in compliance because of the numbers, it doesn't trigger anything at the county. I just hate, like some of the others have expressed, I hate to call a business that's done what they said they would do in here for a hearing just because the county hasn't confirmed to us whether or not this has fallen off. If we approve it, they're not going to get another year if it's fallen off at the county. It's just, but if they haven't, if they still have time remaining on the abatement, then it would move that process along. Is that correct? Our approval is not going to change what happens at the county if, in fact, they've already gotten their full period of abatement.
No, but it's possible that there's an incorrect entry at the county level. If you would go ahead and approve this, it's possible, in theory, someone could receive an abatement longer than what they should have received it.
Because they wouldn't catch it at the county?
The catch-22 is, I don't believe it's this council's job to determine whether or not that 10-year or 6-year, whatever period is, has expired. But along with that as well, even if you require a hearing, that does not mean somebody has to show up.
Of course.
We've had them, we've done it in the past where you've, I believe, directed Michelle or myself to send a letter, just say, hey, provide us an explanation, you don't have to come, but we want to know why, whatever, for whatever reason, something's happened under the form.
and the form is for next year's abatement. Because you couldn't stop this year's abatement. The form is for continued compliance for next year. I'm more than happy, or Mr. Felling will be, to send a letter. You could go ahead and say not in substantial compliance, and then you can cancel the hearing.
Councilman Nasser?
First off, I know Michelle does a great job corresponding with all these businesses. Do we use the same template letter to send to people about their compliance, or do we say, hey, we noticed that you're entering in your 9th, 10th year? Do we change the letter up so we can say, hey, we need to confirm that your abatement has already been started in 2006, 2007? Do we just use the same format?
2 years ago, I contacted the auditor's office and the assessor's office and asked them for the start date of the abatements. Now, I don't have all of them. I have the majority of them. And I base my letters on that.
Okay.
So, again, that's why these two really weren't on my list, because according to the start date and the end date, they were ending this year.
And these two being Glass Call and Providence Center, right?
Correct.
Okay. We're still on Glass Call, Mr. President. Michelle, can we find them in substantial compliance, but also ask that you send them a letter? I guess, Eddie, is that the better?
You could do that on the back of the form if you look at it where the president signs. In the box, it says, "We have reviewed the CF1 form," and find that. The property is in substantial compliance. And then it says reason for the determination. And you could put a note there, and I can mail this to the company.
I think it'd be important to notify the auditor's office as well.
And the assessor.
That's
So I'd like to move that we find Resolution 9, 2007 in substantial compliance, but at the same time, I'd like to direct the city attorney to contact the auditor's office and determine whether or not this is over.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Garrison, that we find CF1 RS 9, 2007 in substantial compliance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It's in compliance. Next
Mr.
item.
President,
Councilman Nation.
before we go on, can we go back to redo Providence Medical
Providence.
Group and do the same thing?
I would like that. Is that possible, Eddie, Michelle?
I think as the president, because of what has transpired with regard to this most recent one, you could call a change in the order and go back to the previously addressed item.
Okay, I will do that. I will call a change in the order on the agenda, and we will go back to CF1 RS 13, 2006.
Do I need to rescind my motion? Or do we just start over?
No, I think we would make a motion, someone would make a motion to reconsider this, and we'll do a vote to vote.
So moved. Motion to reconsider.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilwoman Crossen, seconded by Councilman Nestor, that we reconsider CF1 RS 13, 2006. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, we can reconsider that.
Mr. President,
Councilman Nation.
in light of our discussion, I move that we find Resolution 13, 2006 in substantial compliance, but I also would ask that the city attorney contact the auditor's office to determine whether or not this is finished or not. Is that adequate?
Second.
It has been moved by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Nestor, that we find CF1 RS 13, 2006 in substantial compliance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It's in compliance. Next item, please.
Thanks, folks.
Ready for the next one, Mr. President?
Yes, please.
Harrison Manufacturing, CF1 Resolution 27, 2015. You should have a copy in front of you. They have more employees than they originally estimated. The numbers were entered a little differently under the actual, but they are showing 15 employees and 2 additional, so I'm hoping that means, 15, 6, and 2. Under, as estimated on the SB1, they said 7 plus 11. So I'll leave that up to you guys to determine.
Mr. President,
Councilman Garrison.
I move that CF1 RS 27, 2015 is in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilman Garrison, seconded by Councilman Nestor, that we find CF1 RS 27, 2015 in substantial compliance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
Harrison Manufacturing, CF1 Resolution 31, 2014, same situation.
Mr. President,
Councilman Garrison.
based on the numbers we're seeing, it increases in both. I move that CF1 RS 31, 2014 is in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilman Garrison, seconded by Councilwoman Crossen, that we find CF1 RS 31, 2014 in substantial compliance. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
If I may, Mr. President, I'm going to speak about both of them at the same time for JWS Machine.
Sure.
JWS Machine, Resolution 2, 2013, and Resolution 3, 2013. Resolution 2, 2013 is a real property abatement. They are in the airport district, and they are not assessed, from their letter, they're not assessed property taxes, so they did not submit a form, but they submitted a letter. They have not applied for the abatement because there's nothing to abate. Resolution 3 is on their personal. They did submit the documents on that. And currently, I apologize, the paper's out of order. They are showing significantly more employees than they originally estimated. They're showing 74, and they originally estimated 35.
Mr. President,
Councilman Garrison.
based on these numbers, seeing that there are more than double employees and salaries, I move that we approve CF1 RS2 2013, and that it is in substantial compliance.
Second?
It has been moved by Councilman Garrison, seconded by Councilman Morris, that we find CF1 RS2 2013 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
We will need a motion for Resolution 3 as well.
And we're using the same numbers for this one, too, correct? Mr. President,
Councilman Garrison.
I move CF1 RS3 2013 is also in substantial compliance.
Second?
It has been moved by Councilman Garrison, seconded by Councilman Morris, that we find CF1 RS3 2013 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
Lennox Steel CF1 form for Resolution 21, 2006. Under actual, they put 56 employees, current number, but the number of employees retained is 68.
Mr. President,
Councilman Nation.
looking at this form, it looks like it was filled out by someone who doesn't understand the requirements of the paperwork. I move that we find resolution number 21, 2006, not in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Nasser, that we find CF1 RS 21 2006 not in substantial compliance. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Aller.
No.
Councilperson Azar.
Not in substantial compliance is what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilperson Crossan.
Yes.
Councilperson Elliott.
Yes.
Councilperson Garrison.
Yes.
Councilperson Morris.
No.
Councilperson Nation.
Yes.
Councilperson Nasser.
Yes.
Councilperson DeBon.
Yes. That has been found. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's 7 yes to no.
Okay. That has been found to not be in substantial compliance. Next item, please.
The next two, Mr. President and the council, are letters that we received that the project's not completed. I just wanted them for the record. Miller Perry submitted a letter that the project's not completed, and Pyrolex submitted a letter. No action is required. The next one is Terre Haute TV for CF1 Form Resolution 8, 2011. They are currently showing 83 employees, and they originally estimated a total of 77.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Crossan.
if there's no comment, I would move that we find CF1 RS8 2011 in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilwoman Crossan, seconded by Councilman Garrison, that we find CF1 Resolution 8, 2011 in substantial compliance. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
Terre Haute TV CF1 Form Resolution 9, 2011, the same amount of employees as on Resolution 8, 2011.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Crossan.
no further comment. I move that we find CF1 Resolution 9 in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilwoman Crossan, seconded by Councilman Nation, that we find CF1 Resolution 9, 2011 in substantial compliance. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
Tri-Aerospace CF1 Form for Resolution 4, 2013. They originally estimated that they would have 36 employees total. Give me one moment. And they currently have 36.
Mr. President,
Councilman Garrison.
I move that we find CF1 RS4 2013 in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilman Garrison, seconded by Councilman Morris, that we find CF1 Resolution 4, 2013 in substantial compliance. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
Tri Aerospace CF1 form for Resolution 29, 2012, saying they estimated 36 employees, and they have 36 employees.
Mr. President,
Councilman Garrison.
I move that we find CF1 RS 29, 2012 in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilman Garrison, seconded by Councilwoman Crossen, that we find Resolution 29, 2012 in substantial compliance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
Tri Aerospace CF1 form for Resolution 19, 2017. This one is showing an estimated completion date of December 31st, 2020. They estimated 38 employees plus 22 additional, which should total 60. They have 36 so far.
Mr. President,
Councilman Garrison.
I do see that they've dropped from 38 to 36 employees, but the salary has increased from 1.6 million to 2.3. So based on that, I move that CF1 RS 19, 2017 is in substantial compliance.
Second.
Discussion.
Councilwoman Aller.
I just want a little tidbit of, I don't have a problem with the numbers up there, but a little tidbit on every one of these that I've been looking at. A lot of times they come to us with abatements, and they say the cost and what it should be assessed at, which is down in your section 4. Just a little note that I think everybody should be looking at, of what they're saying that it should be assessed at, and what the assessor's office actually have it assessed at. Because there's a lot of difference there. And that makes a big difference when they're coming to us for an abatement, and it shows how much we're going to get and how much we're going to lose because of an abatement. If it's not being assessed properly, we're losing out on those dollars. So to me, if I'm looking at this, Section 4 means a lot more to me than Section 3 does. So I yield.
Councilman Garrison.
Amy, just a quick question. I appreciate you sharing that. The assessed value is the second number you're talking about. When you said they, is that the self-assessment, what they're saying it's worth, or who's they?
That's what they estimate it when they get if it's personal property, what the machine is being, the company's being charged for the machine, what the actual value of the machine is.
Okay.
If it's real property, it's basically what, the cost that it's going to cost to build or what the project.
Okay, thank you.
But when they come to us with an abatement, that's what they're showing us, and that's what we're basing an abatement on. And these assessments are coming in way underneath that. So that's there's a lot of difference there. And I'm not saying it's necessarily the company's fault, because they're coming and saying what the actual cost should be. But I just a little note, I thought everybody might take a look at, because I was noticing as we went through here. I yield.
It has been moved. I'm sorry, Councilman Nation.
Just one other comment to follow up on Councilwoman Aller's statement there. This one that we're talking about right now on the surface would seem to have a big disparity in Section 4, but they've got until the end of 2020 to finish it, right? So they may not have bought all the equipment yet.
Yeah, and I wasn't just picking on this one.
I know, yeah, I went back.
But some of them are real estate, so some of those, the building, it's built, it's done.
Right. I just wanted to make that comment. I yield.
It has been moved by Councilman Garrison, seconded by Councilwoman Crossen, that we find CF1 RS 19, 2017 in substantial compliance. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
Unison CF1 form for Resolution 3, 2012. This is showing 397 employees total as estimated, and they have 417.
Mr. President,
Councilman Garrison.
interesting that you share that, Amy. But I'm going to go ahead with the motion. I move that CF1 RS3 2012 is in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilman Garrison, seconded by Councilman Morris, that we find CF1 RS3 2012 in substantial compliance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
Unison CF1 form for Resolution 39, 2008. They estimated 96 or 98, that's a very small print. 98 plus 3, plus 5 additional. They're showing 7. I believe this is the line they were discussing that was on the Locust Street. They came, Councilwoman Aller may remember this.
I was thinking, wasn't this the one that was on Locust Street, and they moved part of the equipment on Third Street, so that's why the employee, because I think we called them in last year, and I think that's because they moved the machinery from Locust Street to Third Street, and the employees went with it, so that's what's throwing the employee numbers up, I believe.
Yeah.
And that's why the one before us that we just did
Yeah,
is
I
so
think that gained the
dramatically
input, yeah. I think we called them in last year.
higher. Yeah, I remember that.
That's my recollection also.
Might as well.
So, Mr. President,
Councilman Nation.
if there's no further discussion, I move that we find Resolution 39, 2008 in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Elliott, that we find CF1 Resolution 39, 2008 in substantial compliance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
Warren Village 2, CF1 form for Resolution 14, 2016. They estimated the completion date to be December 1st, 2019. They submitted the form. They're not showing any actual employees, but again, the project's not completed.
Mr. President,
Councilman Nation.
so a question for legal. So they're starting to take the abatement before they're actually finished with the project?
No.
No? Okay.
They still have to file this to keep it open.
I send a letter that says, at the beginning of each year, if your project's not completed, just send us a letter stating that the project's not completed. But if you notice, the next one, they have another abatement, and I think if they were filling out the forms, they just went ahead and filled them out for both.
Okay.
Councilwoman Aller.
Michelle, this probably is it even on the tax roll yet?
This one, let me look real quick and see if this is the one I'm thinking it is, because remember they did that one where they did like 10 parcels around the city, or 15 parcels around the city, and they were going to build homes? Do you remember, I don't know if you guys remember that from 2016. So I believe, yes, if you might not have received, we received an Exhibit A, which is all of the parcel IDs, and there's 15. So some of these may or may not be completed, but all of them are not completed. They're not going to complete this until the end of next year for the 15 homes that they're building.
Mr. President.
Councilman Nation.
I would also add that on the second page of this, there's a text block right in the middle of the page that says the construction of a multifamily residential unit consisting of 22 one-bedroom apartments and 10 single-family homes on 15 sites, unattached Exhibit A. So that's just validating what Michelle was telling us, the information that we have in front of us. Mr. President.
Councilman Nation.
If there are no further questions, I move that we find Resolution 14, 2016 in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Nasser, that we find CF1 RS 14, 2016 in substantial compliance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
Warren Village, CF1, Resolution 13, 2012. They originally estimated 4 employees, and they are showing 4 employees.
Mr. President.
Councilman Nation.
If there's no discussion, I move that we find Resolution 13, 2012 in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilman Nation and seconded by Councilman Nasser that we find CF1 RS 13, 2012 to be in substantial compliance. Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
Well Tower, which formerly was Main Street, CF1 form, Resolution 22, 2012. They estimated up to 100 employees originally, and they're showing 147 employees.
Mr. President,
Councilman Nation.
I note that they also estimated salaries up to $3.37 million, and their actual is 4.2 and change. In light of them hitting and exceeding their targets, I move that resolution number 22, 2012 be found in substantial compliance.
Second. It has been moved by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Garrison, that we find CF1 RS 22, 2012 to be in substantial compliance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance.
Move to adjourn.
Mr. President, we still need to set the hearing, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Do what?
We need to set the hearing within 30 days, because we do have, I'm sorry, I thought there was one that you left. Lennox Hill.
Lennox still.
Lennox.
I have down that Lennox still you didn't revisit.
Yeah.
And the motion was for not in substantial compliance.
Linux.
Yeah, that was the,
So, hearing date within 30 days, you could do it before the July 5th sunshine meeting or before the July 12th sunshine meeting.
I'm okay with either, council.
Yep.
Maybe stay away from the holiday. Stay away from the holiday.
For the business. Yeah.
5:30,
Okay. Yeah, I think we're all good with the 12th.
I need a motion in a second.
Okay.
If someone would make a motion.
Mr. President,
Councilman Nation.
I move that we hold that hearing at 5:30 on the 12th of July.
Second. It has been moved by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Nasser, that we hold a hearing for CF1 RS 21, 2006 at 5:30 on July 12th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the hearing has been set.
May I now, Michelle? Thank you. I move to adjourn.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilman Azar, seconded by Councilman Garrison, that we adjourn the meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.